IELTS lesson which is very useful for you for your IELTS exam. Especially this lesson will be very useful for IELTS beginners. Today we are going to discuss the use of despite. How to use the word despite to link two sentences. The use of despite. This word shows the contrast, opposite ideas. What do you mean by contrast? Black and white. It shows the contrast. Small and big. It shows the contrast. When you link two sentences by using despite, the word despite shows the contrast. I went out despite the bad weather. I went out. But there is an opposite idea here. The bad weather. Normally, when there is bad weather, we don't go out. But here, in this occasion, I went out. I didn't care the bad weather. It's okay, it doesn't matter. Though the weather is bad, I went out. So I can connect these two sentences, these two ideas, by using despite. I went out despite the bad weather. Now look at the second example given here. Despite being sick, I went to work. Here, there are two clauses. What do you mean by a clause? A clause is not a complete sentence. A clause is a meaningful idea. We can call it a phrase. C-L-A-U-S-E, clause. We can connect two clauses and make a complete sentence. Here, the first part of this sentence is, despite being sick. I was sick, but I didn't care it. I went to work. Normally, when you are sick, you don't go to work. But here in this special occasion, despite being sick, I went to work. You can use the word despite at the beginning of the sentence or in the middle of the sentence. Here we have used the word despite at the beginning of the sentence. If you want to use a verb just after the word despite, it should be the verb with ing. You have to use the verb with ing. We call it the gerund. We normally use the gerund of the verb with ing, just after the conjunction despite. The word despite is called a conjunction. A conjunction means a linking word. Right, well, let's get one more example. Despite the complaints from the employees, the boss continued to underpay them. Now there are two clauses here. There are two parts in this sentence. You can combine two clauses to make a complete sentence. Now here there are two opposite ideas. Despite the complaints from the employees, the boss continued to underpay them. The boss paid less salaries. But The employees didn't like it. However, the boss didn't care it. It shows the contrast. What is the meaning of the word contrast? Small, big, black and white, opposite ideas. So if you need to connect two opposite ideas, you can use the word despite. Now look at the next example given here. My brother went to the party despite my mother telling him not to. There are two ideas here. We have combined those two ideas by using the conjunction despite. My brother went to the party. He went to the party. But my mother didn't give him the permission. But he didn't care. So we can combine these two ideas together. My brother went to the party despite my mother telling him not to. If you need, you can get the word despite to the beginning of the sentence. Despite my mother telling him not to, my brother went to the party. Next example. The clothes were still wet despite being in the sun so long. Now you can see two ideas here. They are just opposite ideas. It shows the contrast. The clothes were still wet despite being in the sun. As I said before, if you need to use a verb just after the word despite, it should be the verb with ing. Despite being in the sun so long, the clothes were still wet. You can use the conjunction despite at the beginning of the sentence or in the middle of the sentence. So I am going to wind up today's discussion. I hope you gained something out of this lesson. And don't forget to subscribe my channel. If you need to join my IELTS classes, you can call on 076 760 9005. And don't forget to write some comments in the comment section below. Try to write some examples as I explained today. Wish you all the best. Thanks for watching.